Don, why are you trying to show everybody up?
This is how I express myself.
That's
I was
super
about to
great.
say his shirt is wavy.
That's right. Very
I need
cool.
to do that to my shirt. Hey.
Wavy baby.
You definitely can. Actually, there's another free software that I can share on here. That's what I'm using to run this. I'll just share the link in the chat. You can also have filters in your video calls. But I think you would have to get it working in this call, you'd have to leave and then come back. But actually, yeah, I'll show you the program. Snap camera. Cool. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so this is the program I'm using to wear filters in video calls. It is snapcamera.snapchat.com. Competitor to Meta, so heads up there. But they got a great product for wearing virtual outfits and stuff in context. So I will share this link. Where's the chat? How do I get back to the chat? Oh, there it is. Chat. So here is a link to that site. And so once you download this on your laptop and jump back in, you're basically able to search up any filter. So what it looks like on my end and soon on your end is you'll get this app that says it's called the Snap Camera. Looks just like this. And I go up to my settings, and you want to make sure that whatever your webcam is, you're choosing your webcam here. And then if you want it to run on, when your computer starts, I usually just change the camera. Then you can go in here and search up anything. And so, the one that I'm wearing right now is one that I made, but you can also search from the entire library. So if you could just be like hat, search, there's all these hats that people have made. And then you can start wearing them in your, in your videos, in your calls. And then, yeah, but and then you can save some of your favorites. So these are some of the ones that I've saved of like different outfits, different silly ones that I use all the time, like a cat on your head or something. But very friendly to use. You just have to run it through snapcamera.snapchat.com. You get that app downloaded, and then you can wear virtual outfits in any call, and it's important.
Yeah. I'm about to mess the homies up in the next call.
Yay.
I think we're good. We can get started. Folks have had a good amount of time, and then too for folks joining us later, we'll find a way to plug them in via chat.
All right. So let me know when I should. Or are we splitting the time? Because I know there's another person here. No,
I'm just kind of acting as an MC and acting as a support to folks as they're joining. But this is your show, Don, and we're hoping to break some minds wide open and get folks acclimated. And like I see in the chat, he said, "Man, coming out of the gate with value, tears." So let's keep that going.
All right, you got it. So hello, friends. My name is Don Allen Stevenson III. I go by Don Allen III, and today I'm going to show you a little bit about how we can make custom AR experiences. So I know you kind of heard them as like filters, but I'm noticing like in the industry, they're trying to move away from calling them filters. They're trying to call them experiences. So it's about how do we make your music, your art, an AR experience. And I'm going to show you step by step how we can do that from scratch, and show you some tips and tricks along the way to kind of, make that a not so bumpy process. So with a quick like nod of a head or show of hands, does everybody have the program installed on your laptop or desktop? We got a thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, that's got most folks have a good thumbs up. All right, then I'll start sharing my screen and talk you through it. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna go and do share screen desktop. There we go. And then I'm gonna move this. All right, can you see my screen okay? Okay, cool, I got a thumbs up. Great. So, all right. So what we're going to do to start off is run MetaSpark Studio. So I have it down already installed. And so I'm just going to search for it, MetaSpark Studio, and then run it. Now I already have it running. So this is kind of the experience that we're going to be making today. And I'll show you how we can get this working. But essentially, this thing will work where that image can be any image. And that's an image that I made. And that image essentially is a marker that the camera is going to look for. And if it sees that image, whatever AR, whatever 3D things you want to have appear there will appear. And also music will play. And I'll show you how we can get your own music in here, how to get your own artwork in here, and then how to publish it so that you can literally have your first AR experience. So I'm going to erase all of this for now and just start off from scratch. So right here from scratch, if you're on the front, they got all these really wonderful templates now, and I highly recommend like diving into any and all of them. But we're going to start off with this one down here. That's called the 3D animated poster. When you hover over them, they will play a little sample of what it does. But the one that we're going to start off working in today is called the 3D animated poster. All right. And once you see it, give it a click and we'll jump in. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of stuff happening all at once. And I first want to just kind of break down what you're seeing, because it's like a little overwhelming. It's like all this stuff over here. There's these things moving over here. There's all this stuff, right? So let's just kind of focus one panel at a time. This top left corner is your scene. And think of this as everything that your computer has to, everything that your experience has is going to have to be in here. So I see at the top corner a device that's literally going to be your phone, or any phone that's viewing this looks for your phone of your the camera of your phone, and then there's a bunch of stuff in it. But we'll get down to these in a moment. So that's the first chunk. That's your scene. This section here is your viewport. This is where your experience is loading up. So I can zoom into it by doing my scroll up and down. And if I want to rotate my view, you hold Command if you're on a Mac computer, or you might hold Control if you're on a PC, and that will let you kind of rotate around. So I'm holding Command, I'm left clicking, and I'm dragging around here to move around. All right, so you got your scene, and we got our viewport. This thing right here is literally your playback. So if your webcam is already on, you might see your footage back there. I have my webcam covered right now. That's why it's black right here. But we can actually switch different cameras. So they have this thing called the video library now, which is very helpful. So I would encourage you to press this. And you can have a random video play back in here. And it can help you simulate the experience. So for example, if we chose like, I don't know, this bottom left corner one here, we can like see that we're like looking into a courtyard. And it's imagining that that's a poster in this courtyard. Or if that's too distracting, we could click on that camera, switch it with just this white grid room. And now it's just imagining that our poster is somewhere in space. Okay, so you got your viewports. Down here is your assets. So everything in your assets is what you're going to be importing into your scene, but they're not necessarily in your experience unless they're up here. So think of like when you want to import your artwork, your music, your 3D objects, your characters, your avatars, your anything, you want to bring them into the assets. But if you want them to be exported when you finalize an experience, they have to be inside of your scene. The last thing is this bottom part, and this is called the patch editor. To scroll around it, you can hold Option and left click and drag. This is where all the programming is. And we'll get into this, but for now, we don't really have to worry about it. So just by a quick like nod or let me know, like, does everyone see all these same panels on your screen? Like, do you have a scene, a viewport, an assets panel, a patch editor? Are they all visible?
Hey, Don, we have a quick request from the crew to see if you can enlarge what you're showing on the screen.
Yes, I guess I could try to. Let's see if I move your cameras over here. Does this kind of help?
Can folks see better?
Or do you mean to like do like something like digital zoom into it?
Let's see. I think that was Kaleem. Are you
So
able to see? Is everyone able to see better now?
Yeah, if you could just make it the full screen, that'll be a little bit better for me.
you got it?
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to resize windows, you can drag your cursor over here. I find myself really resizing this viewport quite a lot. You can also detach it if you need to, like, if you want to put on another screen somewhere, and then you can reattach it by hitting that dock button in the corner. Okay, so let's get started. So if you click on this object, let's go ahead and click on your poster. The shortcut to like focus in on an object is to hit the letter F on your keyboard. And that's going to put whatever you clicked last at the like focal point of your camera. So it's a very helpful thing to do whenever you're trying to like work on a big scene. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to replace this image with our own artwork. So if you already have some artwork on your computer, great. If not, you can just practice with like a random image. So we're going to go over here to the far left side here, and you see where it says replace me. This is the image that it's currently looking for. So when I select replace me, it shows me in the corner over here a little preview of like an image. And this is the image that the system is looking for it to like lock onto the wall. So I'm going to replace it with my own artwork. So we can select it, right click on it, and choose replace. So right click on it and then toggle down to that section that says replace. When you do, it's going to open up your files and you're going to look for any image. For me, I made this image beforehand just to make a point. So imagine that this is your album artwork. The size of the image doesn't matter. It could be, any width, any height. Square images tend to work best, but it's not really a problem if it's also in portrait like this. So I'm going to select my artwork. I would encourage you to select any image that you have easily accessible on your computer. And we're going to hit open. As soon as you do that, it's going to replace that image with your artwork. And right now, by starting from this, template, we didn't have to do all this code. All the coding is mostly done for us. So what's great about this now is if we want to test this on our devices, we can. So right now, if you want to go to the bottom left corner, there's an option that's called Test on Device. If you click on it, it's going to ask if you want to test this on your account. And what we're going to do is just click on Send to Instagram. Now it's going to be private, so nobody's going to see this other than your account. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Send. And now a little version of this AR experience is being loaded to Instagram. And when it's done loading, you're going to see a green check mark. And then I want you to check your Instagram account on your phone and try out your experience. So cool, I see a green word that says, we've sent a notification to Instagram. Open the app to test your effect. So go to Instagram and maybe you got to refresh it. And you should see a thing that looks like a little smiley face icon that says try preview.ar export. And you're going to click on it. It's going to say, hey, this is a test effect. Basically, it's just their disclaimer saying like, no one's vetted this, but you're just going to hit continue.
I'm sorry. Where is the test on device?
Down here in the bottom left corner.
Okay.
It looks like a little phone icon. And then it should have some options to choose which device you want to share it to. Oops. Did that work for you?
Yeah, I did.
Sweet. And so now you're on your Instagram account and it'll say that this is a test effect. And if you hit continue, Now the experience is looking for that image. So it literally says, look for that image. And you'll aim your phone. You can pull that image on your laptop right there. And now aim your phone at your laptop screen or your desktop screen, your monitor. And you'll see that it now tracks right to your image with your phone. And those 3D objects are spinning around it. Let me know if that's working for you.
And everybody, feel free to come off of mute briefly or to drop any questions you have in the chat. We'll try to address them real time just so folks can stay up to speed.
Hey, Don, I have a quick question for you. Does it typically, like, how exact does the logo versus what will actually be scanning have to be? Like, if I bring in my logo for my brand, how difficult would it be to scan it on a sweater and then scan it as a patch and then scan it as a decal on my car? Like, how easily recognizable typically is the software?
Yeah, so honestly, it's not that recognizable. It looks for exactly the same image. So if you're giving it an image of your logo with a white background, it needs to have that logo with a white background. If you're going to give it a patch that you want to look for on a decal, if the image is different, it's not going to track it.
Answer perfectly. Thank you so much, bro.
Great question. Yeah, any other questions before we move on to kind of getting the audio and stuff working? Because I can't see your chats. Oh, wait, or can I? Oh, wow, there's a bunch in here. There they are. Let me see. I don't have a patch editor on mine, says Frederick. Is there any way you can manually open it? Yes. If you want to see the patch editor in the top left corner of your MetaSpark Studio, there's an option that's called View. And then the very first checkbox is called Show Patch Editor. So you can show and hide it. I can go to View, Show Patch Editor to show and hide it. We'll be using it in a little bit. So for now, I think it's okay to close the patch editor. Other questions I'm seeing come in. Is there a way you can oh yeah. It says, I think it's because you're using a big screen monitor as a panel. Okay. On top of the taskbar, you'll see next to exit, click on View. Oh, sorry, you already answered that. Make sure your Instagram account is linked to Facebook. Oh yeah, you got to do that. Okay, cool. Frederick says this is really cool. Sweet. Sorry, I wasn't seeing the chat. I didn't know that there was already questions and stuff coming in, but I can see it now. Is it possible, Miles, if you can read out chat as it comes in?
Yeah, for sure. And I think Divakar is in here too, offering some support. So some of these folks are getting answers and it'll allow you to keep moving forward. So we got your back on this one.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so I'm hoping that this first experience worked. And what you're seeing right now, if you went and recorded a video with it and tried to upload it to Instagram, Instagram would basically slap you on the wrist. It'd be like, no. And the reason why is they haven't vetted if this is okay with their platform. So I've tried to record a video directly in here and then I try to upload it. And then it's it'll just say error. It's not really an error. They want to make sure they're able to view what the thing is before it's published. So let's say you were in a rush and you wanted to publish it. Just underneath the test on device button in the bottom left corner is this button, publish. If you clicked on this, you'd be able to publish your experience to Instagram. Now, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to get published, but basically it starts that process of being published. And what they're looking for is just I don't know, first an AI looks at it. So an AI tries to flag it for any problems, if they see any weapons or if they see nudity or they have a certain AI that basically scans it first. If it passes the AI and there's no questions, then it gets approved very, very quickly. But if the AI is I don't know what this thing is. I don't know what this audio is. I don't know what the image is. Then a human has to review it and that takes longer. And then if the human reviews it, they can either, green light it or deny it. Some of the stuff that I've noticed is the easiest to get flagged on is if text is like not moving. So if you try to like put a logo flat on the screen, it's like the fastest way to get it not approved. They're like really against that at Meta. I don't know why. It's very annoying. But if you're using a template and you're replacing assets, it's pretty sure it's going to be approved very quickly, because it's like they've already vetted that template, so they're not like worried of it not being up to code. Okay, that's if you're going to publish this without music. So now it's my understanding that a lot of you are in music. So I'm guessing, like, do any of you use like Propellerhead's Reason or Audacity, and a lot of other like, Pro Tools? So this part's especially for you if you're in music and you're like, how do I get my music in here? Like, okay, it's cool. I have my artwork, but that's not my music. I want my music to play in here when people use my experience. So here's what you're going to need to do. I put a link to a document but I'll go ahead and just copy that link. I'll put it in the chat. We're going to go to this website that is your best friend for converting audio. So before we do that, I'm just going to mention, if you're used to like exporting a WAV file or an AIFF or even MP3, the good news is those are great formats for music and audio. The bad news is those formats don't actually work in almost any AR application. They all have to be converted to this really ugly format in M4A. And it's so annoying. And you could do it. Some of your workstations can do it for you, but I found it the fastest with this one free website, which I'll put on screen now, or I'll just put a link to it, save you the time of even having to type this all out. The website it's called Online-Audio Converter, but I'm just going to copy this link and I'll paste it into the group chat. If I can find the chat, let's save the time and effort. There we go. So, oh wait, another disclaimer. Sorry, so many disclaimers. I'm just trying to make it so that it doesn't break for you, because it's broken for me so many times, so I'm used to it. Your full song is too big for the AR experience. So like the maximum file size that you can get away with making an AR experience on Instagram and Facebook is, I kid you not, 4 megabytes. The whole experience. This is including your images, your 3D models, your objects, whatever you're doing, the whole thing has to fit under 4 megabytes. Oh wait, guys, feel free to roll call and let us know who's in the call. Give us your name. Oh yeah, please do that. That'd be great. Yeah. So
Don. Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, please.
Man, okay, so you just said 4 megabytes. I'm not sure how deep you plan to go into compression, but I know that 4 megabytes is super, 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 super small. So can't wait to hear like what's up with that.
Yeah, no, it's very frustrating, but it's like the limit. The reason why they're doing this to us isn't just because they're trying to be mean. It feels that way. The real reason is they want to make sure that experiences that are being made will work across as many phones from different times. Like, just because you have an older phone or a newer phone, they want experiences to work. They also want them to work when people have a really bad internet connection or a really great connection. So they found that like that 4 megabytes is that spot. But for us, that does mean we have to compress it. And so that's exactly what we do with this website that I sent you here. This is online-audio-converter.com. And you're going to hate me for this, especially if you're coming from audio. You're going to have to compress the crap out of your audio. And it hurts. It hurts me every time I do it. I don't enjoy it, but it's the deal. I see. Let me see if there's any questions. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to go to open your files. Oh, God, I keep going back and forth. One other thing is you can't do your full song, because that's usually going to put you past that 4 megabyte limit. What I would recommend is you find a stem, maybe like a 15-second loopable spot, a 30-second-ish loopable spot. The smaller, the better. but you find that loopable spot, just like the one stem that you need to have on loop and play as like in the background of your experience. You're going to trim it to just that piece. Then once you have it trimmed, then you're going to upload that file to this website here. I see Jay Dunn's here. Yeah. Okay. Welcome. 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 So let's say you go ahead and you got your music trimmed to like a 15-second segment. I've already done this earlier, so I'm going to go to open my files. My music was right here. It was an MP3. And awesome. Let me just make sure it plays back. Sorry, that was so loud, but yep, that's my music. Made that. So I'm going to hit open. Then what we're going to do is ask it to, in number 2, we're going to convert it to M4A. I know it's tempting to crank up. You want to make it the best quality, but I'll be honest, like it's not gonna be your friend to make it the best quality. It's gonna eat up your space to put stuff. Now, if you really want it to be the best quality, then you have to give it a shorter amount of your music. If you want it to have more of your music, you have to give it extremely low quality. So it's kind of a trade-off. I usually keep mine at around good, and I keep mine around good quality, and I try to keep my stems around 15 to 30 seconds. Last thing we need to change before we hit convert is go into advanced settings. And what you want to make sure is that your sample rate is at 44,100 kilohertz. That's another one. And then finally, if you're exporting your stuff in stereo in 2 channels, unfortunately, almost all the AR platforms only accept mono. My only disclaimer here is that we're in the early days of AR experiences. I do not think it's going to be like this forever, but feel free to, you can take a photo of these settings with your phone right now. If you wanted to take your phone out and take a picture of my screen, these are the settings I use for all of my AR experiences. I do them for other AR, musician clients. No one's complained about the quality of the audio yet, even though I know I'm giving them very, very compressed audio, but that'll just be our secret. All right, so now that you've taken your photo of this, we're gonna go ahead and hit convert. And it does it for free. I don't know how Audio Converter is a business, but I'm really grateful for their service. If they have any donations, maybe consider donating to them. All right, but now I hit download. And now I download my audio and it just says, cool, this is the onlineaudioconverter.com. The main thing is that it has to be a .m4a. And I'm gonna save that, give it a new name. Demo, music demo, and then I'm going to save it to my AR workshop folder. Okay, great. So just to recap, this website, it's online-audio-converter.com. You have to have it 1 channel at mono, compress the heck out of it, make it a short clip. That's how you get your audio and music into the space. You want to reduce that file size. Okay, so let's return back to MetaSpark Studio. I'm going to go full screen with it. And now that we're here, we're going to need to import our audio into the assets. So I'm going to hit that plus sign on the bottom, or I can right click in here and choose add asset. And then I'm going to go to import. And then from import, I'm going to go into from computer. Now that we're in our AR workshop folder, or maybe you saved it to your desktop or your downloads folder, I'm going to select my audio, my M4A, and I'm going to hit open. Just as a reminder, you see how that MP3 is grayed out? It's not even an option. You can't even try. You can't even experiment with MP3s or waves or AIFFs. They only work with M4As right now. So that's the reason why that one works. So we're going to hit open. Cool. So the audio is in here and it made a new category for it. So you can compress all this stuff down, but most of your AR experiences are going to have these categories: materials, textures, shaders, scripts, audio. We don't have to worry about too much of that stuff because we're using this template. But in the audio section, we have your music, and you should be able to see a waveform of it. And to make sure it works, you want to hit that play button and make sure you're getting feedback. Cool. So that one works. I have my music playing. Okay. Now what? Actually, no, not now what. Let me check in with you all. Does everybody have an audio converted and imported into MetaSpark Studio? Because the other, so if you don't have that at this point, then the next few steps will be hard to follow. So really want to remind you, if you haven't done it so far already, you want to get that M4A audio into MetaSpark Studio so that we can move on to the next steps.
And if you're having any issues keeping up, please don't feel bad. We're going to be here to provide resources after the fact. If you're on page, follow along. You want to just keep up with the pace where Don's at now. Just try to follow along, take some notes, some screenshots, and potentially you can come back to it later and we'll be answering questions closer to the end.
Quick question. I know this Zoom is being recorded. Will it be sent out to us as well, just in case we do miss a step?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, great. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Okay. Yes.
Since we're kind of at, maybe at a little stopping point here, I would love to just go quickly around the room and have people just introduce themselves and their company or their project, and I want to introduce myself. I'm Bosco Conte. I'm the founder and executive director of HiiiWAV, and we're putting on this this workshop with Don, and we are very thankful to have Don here. He is a celebrity and an incredible artist. And someone said, you know, as soon as the workshop opened, he was already giving value. So we're thankful to have his input and expertise on this call. And just to tell you about HiiiWAV really quickly, we are a Black music entrepreneurship incubator, and we help artists build product-based businesses that don't depend on gigs and streaming, so they can build sustainable careers and sustainable companies. And we use technology to do that, and that's why we're interfacing with Don, and we're thankful to have you guys here. And again, this is sponsored by Meta, so we're also thankful.
Oh my gosh.
For Meta sponsoring this.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah,
I didn't know I was off mute, but this Memphis game is wild. I'll wait until my turn. Sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna pass it on to Miles.
Yes, sir. And I'm brief. I'm one of the board members at HiiiWAV. Really excited to have you all here. Please feel free to be open with your questions and engage deeply. If you don't feel comfortable coming off mic, or you're not in a good place to come off mic, feel free to just drop it in the chat. But I also want to highlight, we have a demo day coming up next week on the 27th. And so we're going to be rewarding some prizes to the top 10 projects from these 2 workshops that we've hosted, as well as you'll get to see in person some really remarkable teams show off some of the recent project work that they've done in the AR immersive space. So please stay tuned to that. We'll be dropping some links here throughout, but pass the rock around. If we'll take a few folks through introductions, and then everybody else feel free to jump in the chat and say hello.
Hi, everyone. You might hear some jazz in the background. And if you do, I hope that's real sexy for you. My name is Taylor, and I am the founder of Gold Beams. And Gold Beams produces very fun events. We are also contracted to produce and project manage events for others. So that includes the Life is Living Festival that just happened in West Oakland. And our internal events include Second Mondays, which we are most popular for. It is our open mic. And we're giving out $12K in prizes for artists over the next 6 months. So you definitely want to tap in. And last but not least, we host almost 3,000 people a year at our events, and I'm underscoring and circling the block back to you want to come. So come through. Oh, and I'll popcorn it to Kaleem. Kaleem, if you are free.
Oh yeah, that's good. I actually had a question for you. When did you say this open mic was?
It's called Second Monday, and the date that it happens is the second Monday of each month. Okay. I put the website in the chat. You can follow our Instagram, sign up on our mailing list, because we always tell you what we're doing. And we're having a concert too on Monday, because we love Mondays. Who doesn't? And you can come to that too.
Yeah, I was going to say, feel free to tap in offline. for more details after people intro. We just want to make sure we use this time really well because we got Don's precious time. So let's keep moving. We'll take 3 more folks on the mic, and then we're going to jump back into the session.
I'll go. You guys hear me good? All right. My name is Vic. I'm from Atlanta, and I'm in the web and content creation space, creator economy. I've been following Don for a while now. I actually created a course in January circled around blockchain and Web3. It called Wind, and now a very huge corporation I can't speak on, but I'm now creating a 300 course metaverse, AR, AI, metaverse, curriculum with quizzes, tests, all kind of things. So I'm super blessed for that. I'm studying you closely, Don. And I just started a 50-day challenge to learn Spark AR from 0 to 50. So for this to be the day before 50 is like, first of all, gentlemen, for putting this call together. I need to show you guys some love, man. So thanks for all of this. I'm super tapped in. Thank you for everything, man.
All right, appreciate that. Let's go to Christopher real quick, and then we'll do one more after.
Peace, y'all. First, I really do apologize for that outburst. If y'all get a chance to tap into this game, please do. I'm super, super thankful to be on here. Kaleem is actually my OG, and we're based in Columbus, Ohio, and we obviously have a lot of love out in California, both in the Bay and Los Angeles. I moved back home to Columbus from Los Angeles. I was previously working with a company called Streamlytics, founded by a woman named Angela Benson, who's like a pioneer, as we all know, in the black tech space. When I was working with Streamlytics, we were doing a lot of like investigation into VR, paying a lot of like close attention into companies such as Meta and all the other big tech companies. Kaleem is doing so much work here in the community, specifically to make sure our youth and black youth are given the same opportunities as other folks. As y'all know, the Midwest, specifically Columbus, Ohio, is set to be like the new tech hub. We got Intel coming here. The president was just here a couple weeks ago, but we are like of the people, and we are the people. So everything that we're doing is with the community lens and making sure that we not only are included but empowered. So both of us are here, kind of as delegates, and really just tapping in. This stuff is fun. We're both music artists, we're creatives, and we enjoy each other. So we greatly appreciate y'all. I think Kaleem will be out there next week to chop it up with y'all, but I'm thankful to meet everybody, and I'm excited to keep interacting. Peace.
Amazing. All right, well, one more, and let's keep it brief. Let's get your name, company, and then just like a quick stab about AR and why this is exciting for you.
Yo, this is Chris P. I work with 1-800-Web3. We brought the largest NFT festival to Oakland in partnership with Zoratopia. It was called Zoratopia and NFT Oakland. We also worked with HiiiWAV for HiiiWAV Day, which also had a few thousand people. And we integrated NFTs with that. So you could just scan it with the QR code. I also represent a lot of artists on a national and international level. So you can DM me to get like a free promo code to like mint your first NFT on the Ethereum network for free. It also comes with a CRM and a tool set that allows you to do exclusive drops for your holders. Everything from merch, like just like a one-click button to have them order your NFT artwork on merchandise, to do some token gating, which basically means that only people who own your token will be able to access other web pages. And I'm also a great supporter of Don Allen and Bosco. So I really appreciate this call. It's a lot of masterminds here.
All right, let's back to you, Don. Let's keep this thing going. I know we don't have too much time with you, so let's keep it rocking.
You got it. Thank you all so much for the intros. It's good to meet your faces and learn a little bit about what you do. Hopefully I can help bring some value to the spaces that you're in. So just to recap, we opened up MetaSpark Studio and we started off with this template. This template's called Animated Poster. We replaced our artwork with, we replaced the template artwork with our artwork. And now we're in the next stage where we converted our audio, and we've actually imported our audio into MetaSpark Studio because it has to be an MP4 and it has to be in mono and it has to be in 4100 kilohertz. So now that we've done all those steps, I want to show you how we can get our music to play in here. And this is where we're going to need that patch editor. So we're going to click on that top button that says View. And then under view, we're going to go to show patch editor. Now, I know this area looks pretty overwhelming. It's a lot of stuff going on. So just leave it open for now. We're going to touch on it in a second. Now to get your audio to play in any AR experience, we have to tell it that there's a speaker that we needed to add. So in this tab that says scene, you'll see there's a little plus sign in the bottom right corner of that scene tab. Go ahead and click on that plus sign. And then what you're going to look for is the word speaker. You can type it in the search. So I'm going to type in speaker. Oops, where'd it go? Let me try it again. Go to the search and type in speaker. There it is. It's got a nice little speaker icon. And once you have that speaker, click on insert. Now you're going to see that your scene now has a speaker. And this is a very, very important step. Without a speaker, your experience won't make any sound because it's like you didn't plug into a speaker. So we need that in our experience. Okay. Now that it's now that our speaker's in our experience, with the speaker selected, make sure that the speaker is set to audible. And you can do that by checking on that blue check mark next to the word audible. And then for the audio, you can actually, it's set to none right now, but now we can actually replace this with, actually, I take it back. We'll keep it at none for now. Okay. So what we want to have happen is when someone plays this AR experience and starts recording a video, we want that video to have the music in it. Or actually, we have two ways of doing this. We can either go the route where when someone hits record on their filter, it's going to record the experience plus the audio. But while someone's holding their phone, they're not going to hear the music while they're hitting record. That's just that's like a known intentional detail by Spark AR. They make it so that when you're recording, they don't want audio playing back from the phone while you're recording because it creates a really bad feedback loop. So it's like when the experience is on your phone, but you're not recording, you can hear the music. Or after you've recorded the video with no music, when you play it back on your phone, you would hear the music. So you got those two different routes. Let's do the friendliest one first, which is just getting music to play in here. So to get the music to play, what we're going to do is right click on the patch editor, and we're going to look up audio. And one of the audio ones that we want is this audio player. And when you have audio player selected, we're going to click add patch. Great. Oh, I heard someone had a question. Okay, no questions. I'll continue forward.
I think, Don, maybe if you want to just rewind and go right back through that again, just in case someone missed it.
You got it. So let's start off from having no patch editor. So okay. So you're in Spark AR and you want to get your music to be in here. First thing we want to do is go up to the top where it says view, and we want to show the patch editor, because this is how we code things into an AR experience. Now this template already has a lot of these boxes in here. I see this box here, it's called camera instructions. We got this one that talks about just other details like how it binds images. We're going to ignore all that stuff. And what we added down here was an audio player. And so now that we have an audio player, that's great. And we have a speaker. We need to drag this speaker into the patch editor. Uh-oh, I don't see it working on my end. That might be a bug. Okay, another option to get it in there is where it says speaker. If you click on this little arrow next to it, any of these arrows, when they turn yellow, if you press on them, it adds them into the patch editor. So it's another way of doing that. So now we have an audio player and we have a speaker, but they're literally not connected. So I'm going to zoom into here by holding the command button, and I'll use my scroll wheel. If I want them to be connected, I just got to almost like an audio jack. I got to plug in this audio into the speaker. All right, so now we have an audio player and we have a speaker. We literally have just like one more step. We need to get our audio to plug into the audio clip. We need to let it know that that's the clip we want it to play. So next to your music, you can right click, in the asset section, we're gonna hit the plus sign one more time down here. And we're going to add a thing called a playback controller. So you hover over playback controller, and then they have one in here called audio playback controller. A lot of little steps, but this will all be very friendly in a moment. So we have an audio playback controller, and it wants it to give it a name. I'm going to say my music. Great. Now it has my music. So you see when I select my playback controllers, my music is selected, and I need to give it that audio. So I see that that's my music. I go to audio, and now I can see that that's the audio that we imported earlier from that converter website. So I'm going to bring in my music _ demo. Okay. And then I want my music to loop because I cut it to a stem. So I check on loop. And if you hit play, you're going to hear your music play. Oh, or maybe not. Don't know why that happened. Let me hit refresh. Oh, sorry, because it's not plugged into the speaker. It's literally not there yet. So last step here, I want this to play when someone hits record. That way my music is in their video. So to do that, I click on this little yellow arrow, and now the play button is like added into here. And so what we want to have happen is if you kind of zoom out, you'll see that there's this purple section here. And this is this is your whole camera. So these are the different things that happen when your front camera is active. It asks the front camera to be active. When the back camera is active, it asks for the target tracker to be visible. That's how it knows to like look for your image. The one that we want to add is what happens if someone tries recording a video with their Instagram camera. So when they record a video, I want it to send a pulse. So I look up the word pulse. That pulse is basically an on-off switch. And I want this to essentially play a single bit of music. So I'm going to go to if there's a pulse, and if the pulse is turned on, I'm going to drag it out and search for a single clip controller. And we'll click on add patch. So now the camera is recording a video. It sends a pulse. It's going to ask to play a single clip. And now I'm going to plug this single clip controller into my audio controller. And the last thing we got to do is just bring our audio into here. So I'm going to grab my music and drag it into the scene. I don't know why I dragged in my music here, so I'm going to delete that. My apologies. Okay, so you got your camera, and you see how that's the audio that we converted. We can now plug this in to the audio clip, and it's pretty much done. If we select our audio playback controller and make sure that music is turned on, I think everything is all set. So you can actually test out this AR experience on your phone again. So I'm just going to reiterate what we have plugged in here. We grabbed our existing camera and we took that video recording. It sends a pulse. That pulse asks a single clip to be played, and we tell that that's our controller. The controller plugs into this audio player. It knows that the audio clip is the music that we converted, and it knows that all this audio player needs to send to is the speaker. If you've done all of these steps, you can now go to the bottom left corner to test this on your device. So you click on that little phone icon with an arrow, and then click refresh to your Instagram link. It's now going to upload this whole little clip to Instagram, and now you can try it out on your phone. So I'm just going to wait for the green words to appear. That's how you know it's uploaded to Instagram servers. You'll get a notification on your phone saying that it's up. All right, I'm opening up my notification. And now you can aim your phone at your artwork to track that scene, to find that image. And then once it finds an image, you'll start hearing your music when you record a video. So I'm recording a video with the Instagram, story camera. And then now you should have your music. Your music should be playing. All right.
Question.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you get the orange music where it says music demo? How did you get that one on the patch bay?
Yeah. So I went to this folder where my audio was imported. I left click and drag it right into the patch editor.
It's crazy. This is so similar to 3ds Max.
Yeah, with like the ins and the outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the secret trick to getting your own music to play on Instagram without even having that song published to any, it's not published onto any server. Like I didn't have to go through Spotify or SoundCloud. I didn't have to connect anything. I set up this thing where now this filter will now play where if someone's recording a video while they're aiming their phone at my artwork, my music that I've chosen is going to play on their phone. It's going to play right in their camera. So this kind of gets to the next thing where I want to talk about credits, because how does someone know that this is your music? Now it's going to look like whoever publishes this Instagram experience is who the credit is going to be attributed to. So we should definitely touch on that. But actually, we'll touch on that last, because I want to show you how to make a 3D avatar in like 15 seconds using a different website. I'll show you the quality of the avatar by turning on this demo. I know this is sponsored by Meta, but I use their competitors' products and I still teach their stuff. So Meta, don't be mad. Here's the avatar I'm going to help you get set up on yours. So this is me, this is professional Don. It's got the face tracking and stuff. Now we're not going to do all of this. Is a whole nother lesson on how to do like avatars and body tracking. And I actually made a whole free tutorial on YouTube on how I set that up. So you can watch that on your own time. But what we are going to do is show you how freaking fast it is to make an avatar today. I'm not kidding. This is about 15 seconds if you have a photo of yourself. So that's what we're going to do right now. And then we're going to import that. We're going to import that character into here. It's going to be very fun. Okay, here we go. If you can still see my screen, we're going to go to another website. This one is called readyplayer.me. I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to send it to you in the group chat. If I can find where the chat went. Where's the chat? Looking for the chat. Oh, there's the chat. Great. And I'll just type in readyplayer.me. Here you go. All right. So you're going to sign in or sign up. It's free. It's totally free. I'm already signed in, so I'm going to sign in with my email. And then whatever your password is. And I think it might ask you to verify something. Let me see, done. Oh, I spelled something wrong. What's my password? One more second. You might have to make a password if you're super here.
I don't know. Gonna do this class.
Okay. So I'm signed in. And I'll show you how. Oops.
R-O-M-I-R-O. Same energy VR.
Somebody's off mute.
What was that?
Somebody's off mute.
Oh.
Are you able to control audio? Thanks.
All right, cool. So here's Ready Player Me once you're signed in. And what you're going to go to is the tab called My Avatars on the left. Now, I've made a lot of different avatars for different use cases, but we're going to create your first avatar for yourself. So we're going to go to, actually, I'm trying to think which one's the best one. Should we do the VR chat ones, or if we should do, okay, well, let's do a VR chat one. I think that will work. So do you see an option called Explore New Apps? If you do, scroll down to one that's called VR chat. I think any of these will work, but I just want to do the ones that I for sure have tested. So if you go to VR chat and click on View App, oh wait, no, I'm totally I messed that up. Okay, ignore that. Go back to avatars. Do you see an option that says Create New Avatar on your page? Okay, I see a couple head nods. So if we click on Create a New Avatar, there's an option that says Choose an Avatar. So these are ones I've already made. You won't have these. You'll have this green Create a New Avatar button. You can hit that plus sign. You can choose a body type, masculine, feminine, or you don't want to specify. So I'm going to choose a thing. And then it has an option to either take a photo or pick a photo. If you have a photo of yourself, that would be great. If you don't, you can take a photo there. Or you can actually, if you don't have either of those, you can also continue without a photo. But this does, it's, when I said it takes 10 seconds, if you have a photo, it like looks at things about yourself, uses AI, tries to estimate, skin tone, nose shape, eyes. It tries to do all that stuff for you. And then you can tweak it further afterwards. I'm going to click on continue without a photo in case you don't have one. So you can kind of pick a base avatar that you want to work off of. I'm going to go with maybe this guy and then hit next. And now it's very much like building a character in a video game. So you can press the left mouse button behind to kind of scroll around, and you can play with the skin tone. And they have a pretty wide range of skin tones, which is nice. And then once you have a skin tone, you can go and just kind of go down this list and modify your avatar. So I could go to this section here, go to head shape. So I can actually change the shape of the character's head. And if you can, and we can do hairstyle, you can do eye color, and makeup, and even outfits. And so, this is a little fun time. So go ahead and celebrate, have some fun right now, make an avatar. I'll kind of talk out loud as I'm working on mine. But what we'll do is reconvene in about, let's say about 3 minutes. I see Damien says, dope. Taylor says, whoa, I just started my avatar and even detected my locks. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Like there's a pretty impressive AI behind here at this point. And like this avatar, by the way, you make this thing, it actually has, the company Ready Player Me has a lot of integrations with NFTs right now. So if you started making clothing and merchandise for your Ready Player Me avatar, it works really seamlessly with all their NFT stuff. If you're like me, you want to make AR filters, it works really well for that. If you're in VR and you want to make VR experiences with these avatars, it also works really well for that. So it's just like I like it. I like that this tool exists and it's free. So anywho, I'm going to choose a little head shape. I'm going through, maybe that's like my chin, maybe that's my cheeks. Great. Next, I'm going to go to the eye. You can change your eye shape. That's so freaking cool. Eye spacing. And then you can go to your nose, and it tries to detect a lot of these things, but AI isn't perfect yet. So it's not going to always guess right. So you do got to, if you want to have a certain likeness, a certain appearance, you want to go and change those things. You got lips, you can work on the different lip shapes. Okay, I'm going to move to clothing. I'm going to kind of speed through this. They have a lot of really cool clothes as default that you can like play with. Keep in mind that if you don't like what's on the clothes, like for example, if I don't like a certain icon or logo, you can change these things, but that's a more advanced tutorial. You'll need to do that on a separate, you can use a program called Blender if you wanted to like change the graphics on your outfit. But for now, let's just choose one that you like, and pretend that you're not going to make edits to it afterwards, because that's going to be kind of complicated. So I'm just kind of going through, finding an avatar skin. Cool. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to click on next. And then it says preparing your avatar. Awesome. And then it kind of brings it to life right in there. So you can see your avatar in the space. And now to get this data out of here, they have this option called download avatar as .glb file. And you'll be able to download that full avatar that you just made. And how fast is that, right? Like you could have gone from a photo, used AI to estimate your likeness, and then you choose like, you know, custom stuff. But now you have this avatar. So I'm going to click on the download. Give it a couple seconds to think. Huh. Oh, there it goes. Waiting for API. I don't know if it's working. Oh, there it goes. So there's my avatar. It wants me to download it. I'm going to call this my first avatar and hit save. And a GLB is not the friendliest format, so that's not always going to work everywhere, but it does work really well in MetaSpark Studio. That's why I wanted to suggest this pathway. If you were going to take this into other 3D applications, there's websites that can convert .glb files to other file formats, but it usually breaks something. Usually the thing that would break is textures. So, but for now, I think we should be safe with this .glb file. So if I take a look at this thing in the Finder, I see that there's my .glb file. Okay. Almost done here. So let's jump back into MetaSpark Studio. And now I want to basically replace these 3D spinning assets with my avatar, the one that we just made from scratch in a web browser. So if we take a look at our scene, we see that our scene has a bunch of stuff. We have a device, right? So everything goes from our device, our phones. And then in our device, there's a thing called a target tracker. We didn't have to set this up because we started with the template. It had a target tracker in there and we just replaced an image of what we wanted to look for. Okay, so I'm going to expand the target tracker. In the target tracker is this, a little object that says delete me. Now, before you delete me, I just want to show you what that is. If you turn off and on the visibility, that's those little spinning objects right there. It's just a placeholder. It's a little default geometry that they put in the scene. What this means is anything that you put underneath the drag here is going to appear in front of your artwork, which is so cool because this could be your avatar. It could be an asset, a prop, anything that you want. Let's make it be our avatar though. So before I drag it in here, I'm going to go to my assets panel, click on that plus sign, and we're going to import from my computer. We're going to import that .glb file, my first avatar .glb. We'll hit open on it. All right, takes a couple seconds to load. All right, there it is. It says my first avatar. When I expand it out, what's wild is how much stuff is packed into here. So I just wanted to show you so you could appreciate how powerful this feature is. So if I expand this out, it has textures of eyeballs and skin and teeth and body, outfits on the bottom, outfit texture of the footwear. It has an outfit for the top, and it has a geometry for the hair. And then it's got tons of textures. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that you can get all of that out of here for free. Yeah, and it created it so fast. Like we're talking 10 seconds, 15 seconds. All right, so cool. You have your asset in here. All we need to do now is drag your first avatar just underneath the section that says drag here. So you could drag it right on top of delete me or under it. Either way is fine. I'm going to try under it. And it looks like, oh, sorry, some sirens are going by. Okay, it looks like it didn't attach properly. And I'll show you how we can fix this. And also it looks like all my textures broke. I'm zooming out. Okay, it looks like the skin worked. There are some problems. It's not perfect, but we can fix a lot of this stuff in here. So first off, you see how I don't see where this file went. It's not in the delete me. It's not in the drag here. Sometimes when you drag stuff into here, it moves it into random spots. So I'm going to expand my camera and see if there it is. So you see that my first avatar, it didn't go underneath my target tracker. It accidentally went underneath this camera. I think once it's here, we can actually just drag it from here and move it into the proper spot. Okay, cool. So now that avatar is only going to appear, it's only going to be seen if my artwork is seen. So you can almost imagine providing a secret gift for anybody who took the time and effort to take their phone from Instagram, look at the artwork that you've made. And this could be at any scale. It could be a billboard. It could be a poster. It could be a, an image online. It could be another post on Instagram. You can literally make any of these things target trackers. Things you want to be cautious of, though, is the target really reflective? Because if light is really reflective on your target, this AI may not understand that that's your image. It may not understand that's what it's looking for. So I try to look for matte surfaces. Matte surfaces are great for target trackers because the light doesn't change a lot. Okay, so cool. So you got your first avatar in here, and it's a child. This is called a child. It just means that it's underneath a parent. Whenever there's this relationship where there's an object and then something is indented underneath it, the indented object is called the child. The non-indented object is the parent. So in this case, the target tracker is the parent. The file called drag here is a child. The file called delete me is a child of the drag here, and et cetera, et cetera. The avatar is a child of a child of a child of a child. So, okay, so you got this in here. Now we need to fix some things because my avatar is huge. So if I wanted to fix this, we're going to select your avatar. And you see over here, you get these things called transformations. One of them is called scale. And we just have to type in a number that's smaller than the scale that we have. Or if when you import it, it came in too big, you need to scale it up. So I'm going to start off with half of 1. Let's do 0.5. And the reason why you're seeing 3 numbers here is this first number is only the X axis. The second one is the Y axis. And the third one is the Z axis. So we need to shrink it by 0.5 in all dimensions. Otherwise, it's going to be all warped. All right, so that's at 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay, it's still not great. So how about this? If you're like me and you hate typing in numbers in general, you can actually, there's a shortcut. If you hit the letter T on your keyboard, it brings up a tool that lets you drag that little yellow box to scale it to the size that you want. So I'm going to fit this to be right in front of my poster. If we hit the letter F, we can zoom into it. And if we hold Command and toggle around, we're able to, explore around the space. So now that I have my avatar at the right scale, I also want to have it in the right position. So the shortcut to get to all these things is E. E lets you change the position of stuff. R lets you change the rotation of stuff. And T lets you change the scale of stuff. So when I'm in this viewport, I'm always hitting E, R, and T. E to change the position, R to change the scale, the rotation, and T to change the scale. All right, so that's like the friendlier way. Oh, that's a gem. Oh, yay, cool. That's a gem for you. E, R, and T are your friends. They speed up your workflow. So I'm going to hit the letter E and I'm going to move my character down. So I don't want him to be blocking my poster. And maybe I want to move him to the side. And then I want to rotate my avatar so it's kind of like introducing my artwork here. So I hit R and I could drag this here. So E, R, and T. And you see how all of these numbers just changed? This is the same thing of what we just did. Notice how when I hit when I hit R and I'm rotating just that green circle, it's only changing the values of the rotation there. See that? It's only changing rotational values. So it's doing the same thing. So you can type it in manually if you have some extra time, or you can, or you could not. Okay. So cool. Our avatar is in here, but the outfit's kind of broken. I'll show you how we can try to fix some of this. Maybe your textures broke like mine did. To fix this, we got to look at the materials. So right now, when I select this object, we see an assigned material. Oh, we got a question. To make your avatar more creative, take it to Blender and add your stuff and animations. 1000%. So I usually don't advocate just taking an avatar straight from the online and then bring it into Spark AR. Sorry, MetaSpark Studio. I usually advocate for doing exactly what was said here, which was essentially you bring it into another program to like maybe pose it. Because right now he's just like in this really intense T-pose. But if you wanted your character to not be in a T-pose, you can repose that character if you bring it into another 3D program. But actually, let me see. Maybe they've added that feature they might have added that feature to Spark AR. Let me see. Can I rotate? I mean, I haven't tested this. Let me see. Rotate the leg. Oh, wow. You can actually pose the character right inside of Spark AR now. That's a new feature.
Yes, a recent update.
Oh my God. I've been wanting this for quite some time.
I'm saying this like, yeah, I didn't say this now.
Yeah, so I'll show you how to do that. You see where you got your avatar, right? It says my first avatar. There's every avatar that you get has to have a skeleton. That skeleton is the bones. Also, you can go ahead and close that patch editor. I don't really use it all the time. I just use it when I'm connecting stuff, but then I want it out of my way because it's very distracting. So I'm going to literally hit the X button on both of these. So you have your avatar here and you have a skeleton. If you expand out the skeleton, you see these blocks. These are the bits of geometry that have textures on them. So if you need to fix textures, you're going to fix them there. And then these ones with these little diamond icons, these are actually bones. So if I wanted to change something about the bones of my character, like the hips here, I could now rotate the hips, or I can rotate just the spine. And yeah, you could spend some time with this. And oh wow, can you just click right on the avatar? Oh my God, sorry, that's new too. That's a new feature. So you can actually just click right on the bone and then pose it to however you want it to be posed. Wow, these are new features for me. I didn't expect this. I'm used to doing this in Blender. It's really nice to see that you can now just pose your character right inside of Spark AR. I mean, that's yeah, your job is a lot easier now. Exactly. So there you go. So you can pose your avatar however you like. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. Next thing, these other things that came with your avatar are called. Oh yeah. So to zoom into the head, I select the head and I hit the letter F, and that's how I'm zooming into the face. All of the characters that come with Ready Player Me have these things called face shapes. You can literally change whether you want your character to smile or not with a slider. How cool is that? So you can literally change not just their body pose, but you can change that facial expression to exactly what you want it to do. It's very nice for free. Isn't that nice? Okay. Now, one thing I am a little worried about is that the file size might be too big, because I did see that this thing has a lot. We have all of these textures, and sometimes, you know, we have to fit our music, our artwork, and our 3D model in under 4 megabytes. So to quickly test whether this is going to fit or not, I go up to View, and they have this thing called Show Asset Summary. Click on Show Asset Summary, and it tries its best to give you a deal of how big the file is. So it looks like right now, unfortunately, we're all over the limit. It's red. If it's red, it's not even going to let you publish this. You can test it out, but you won't be able to publish this. So usually what I do when I see red in here, I expand out what are the biggest contributors, what's eating up most of my memory. I need to know, because maybe I can delete some stuff, maybe I can get rid of some stuff. So it looks like when I look at my 3D objects, those are the problem. It looks like those are at 4.8 megabytes. So just my 3D objects are too much. And it looks like my avatar, bummer. Okay, so bad news here, friends. We'll need to I know I was just saying how great it is that we can just go straight in to Spark AR or MetaSpark Studio. We can just bring in this avatar. But the truth is, it looks like we can't right now because the file size is too big. So if you want to learn more about this process, I would go on YouTube and look up how to optimize assets in Blender. That is the solution. So that's usually what I do professionally, is like, I would bring in this character into Blender. In my case, I use Cinema 4D, and I would start reducing its complexity. I would delete stuff that no one's going to see. Like, for example, I saw that the character has like a whole mouth and teeth. Like, it has a whole mouth and teeth in there. And like, I'm not planning on showing that. So I should delete that because it's just eating up my memory. So, you know, I go through and I delete stuff that's not going to be seen. But that's kind of a more complicated process inside of Blender or Cinema 4D. But we got a question from Miles. Says, if you think this experience is cool, please follow Don at. Oh, cool! Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, I teach this stuff as well on a lot of Instagram live streams. But yeah, looks like we're not going to be able to publish this experience as it stands because the 3D objects are too heavy, which is a bummer.
Hey, Don, I have a question real quick for like optimizing the 3D objects. Can you do a tutorial on that sometime? Because I've like had some experience just throwing it into Blender and like trying to reconstruct the mesh and stuff. And, like the UV map will get messed up. So then the textures are all messed up or whatever. So yeah, I'll super be down and watch that.
Yeah, I definitely do teach that. I mostly use Cinema 4D though. So I actually don't know how to do it on Blender. So I don't know how to optimize assets in Blender because it's not like my main 3D program. I'm only recommending Blender because it's like the free option. But if you're able to buy Blender or Cinema 4D, then I could tell you very quickly how to set that up. The main contributors to the file size is the polygon count. So if you have anything that you take away with how to optimize stuff, you need to get that polygon count a lot lower. I try to target my assets under 100,000 polygons. That's my personal favorite for AR. And the second way of getting your file size down is eliminating textures. So I'm looking at these textures and, you know, that one's 78 kilobytes and this is 100 kilobytes and that's 300 kilobytes. Well, when I add all these up, you know, it looks like that's going to be about 2.3 megabytes. So oftentimes I make textures, I sacrifice textures first. I go and I literally just, like, this wasn't going to fit all here. I would go in and I start deleting stuff. So I would start selecting these textures that I don't really care about and deleting them. Just because if you keep them, you're using up your memory. But yeah, so reducing polygons, reducing the textures. Now, if you don't want to delete the textures, you can actually just make the texture smaller. So if you can open it up in a program like Procreate or Photoshop, you could shrink the texture down smaller and then import that one. It's going to look crappier, right? Because it's less pixels, but it's actually a lot less information that it has to think about. So I would say this is kind of out of the scope for how to make an experience with your music play. So the whole thing I would encourage you to look up on YouTube is how to optimize assets for games. It's the same.
Yeah, Don, I mean, one thing to say, because like in Blender, we have like directly from Spark, we have toolkit to, I mean, decrease the polygon directly from the Spark. It's an official add-on to Blender so that people can use that to, I mean, decrease the polygon and size. It works.
Fantastic. Yes, I think I saw a blog post for that. So yeah, there's a plugin that Meta made for Blender because this was such a common problem. Because you see it yourself. You saw 4 megabytes and you're like, oh my God, that can barely fit anything. So Meta made a plugin that works with Blender that will optimize your assets. I don't know what it's called, but I think if you rewatch this video, you'll have the right terms on Google to look up.
I just dropped the link in the chat. They can check that out.
Yay, even better. It's collaborative mode. sparkar.facebook.com/arstudio/learn/articles, creating and prepping assets, toolkit for Blender. Sweet. Great resource.
Yeah, pull that from the chat. So we have about 7 minutes left. Just wanted to flag that really quickly. This is a sample not a full buffet necessarily, but we want you to really tap into the resources that are being provided here, and then also use a lot of what's being expressed. If you're not aware of this feature in Zoom, that little triple dot menu option next to the smiley face will allow you to export the chat so that you don't miss out on all the dope resources that were shared during the call. I think beyond that, I'll say, like, as we move towards the close, we could jump into like a few questions if folks have questions for Don.
Yeah, happy to answer Q&A. Yeah, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, if this was going to work, I would need to delete our 3D objects. I'm going to go ahead and delete them. The other option, if you want assets to come in here, is if you hit this, if you go to your assets panel here, there's a plus sign, and they recently, like last couple of years, they added this option called Search Asset Library. And this is a great spot because a lot of these assets, if you go to 3D objects, these ones are already optimized. A lot of them are optimized for AR already. So super helpful. And they have like thousands of assets in here. And so you can literally search for them. So I could look for, like, I don't know, music. And I want to search from Sketchfab. And now there's all these beautiful 3D objects that are about music. Look at this radio here. And if I wanted to bring this into my scene, I click on import for free. And this file size is very lightweight. I only see like almost 14,000 polygons. So you can kind of audit them, and then you could import those in. So that's another alternative. If you want to still stay in Spark AR, you can import from in there directly from Sketchfab. That's the website's called Sketchfab. And then, yeah, to publish, we'd go to the button here. I click on publish, and you would say this is a new effect. This one, see how it has that flag here? I'm not even allowed to publish it if it's over that file size. So it's really, really important that it's under 4 megabytes. Let's say I was good. I would click on upload, and that's where you would finalize and give it the permissions, the name of the experience. Oh. We got a recommendation under 50K polygon is recommended for a smooth AR experience to work on any device. Okay. Cut mine in half. I think I tend to use them on like iPhones. And so I might be spoiled with the amount of polygons I'm allowed to get away with. But you're right. If you want it to be the most accessible, and this is your music and your art, then maybe try to target under 50,000 polygons. This is what it will look like when you're about to upload.
This is extremely messy.
And give it a name. You tell it what platforms you want it to work on. You ask if you want to make the experience public. You just go through this whole process connected to whatever account you want to. And then once you're all done, you give it an icon, and you choose submit.
Mamas.
Hey, Damien, can you mute your microphone? Yeah, we can hear your background.
Yeah, and so that would that's how you would publish an asset. That is how, and I think they added a feature where you can now add collaborators too. There it is. So yeah, collaborators optional. This is a part where you can tag and share credit of the effect. Might be great if you have more than one musician on it. You can credit them, and then now that AR experience credits all the people that are part of it.
Yeah, but I mean, this collaborator option is working if they have at least one active filter in the collaborator account.
Oh, okay. So you can't have many collaborators, only one.
No, I can add up to 3. Like if you want to add any collaborator, they like even the collaborator needs to have one active effort in their account.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't just add anybody. They have to have an active published.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you. That is helpful. They have to publicly show this effect in their MetaSpark portfolio unless you change their permissions. But yeah, it's something that we asked for a few years, a better way to add collaborators. So you can get that there now. But yeah, if you have any questions, now's the chance.
Yeah.
Yo, can I get a your professional opinion, right? Like Karen Exchange, or like you've also done some filters that seem super complicated, where it would seem like the polygon count would easily exceed 50K or 4 megabytes. Like
Yes.
the one filter that like you look into like the Van Gogh or whatever, and like you walk into a whole other 3D portal room. How is that possible on like Spark AR?
Yeah, so it is possible in Spark AR. It's this like really professional optimization. Like there's no one that's getting around that 4 megabyte thing on Spark AR. That is their hard software limit. No one can get past that. But what you can do is you can like bake lights. That's one trick. That would be one pro tip, is baking lighting onto your textures is a way that I've managed to make people think that the quality was higher than 4 megabytes. So you can look up tutorials. How do I bake lighting with Blender? How do I bake lighting for AR? How do I bake lighting for games? That's one way. The other one is secondary motion usually helps people think that the quality is higher. So I try to have not just one key moving thing in an AR experience. I try to have several moving elements. And people just immediately, without me even saying anything, they automatically think the quality's higher, even though it's the same 4 megabyte limit.
Two more. We take 2 more questions, and then maybe we can. Snap cam again. Anybody else want to pop off of mute and throw some questions out here?
Yeah, I have one if you don't mind. It's kind of a 2-part. When it comes to the patch portion, is there a such thing where you can go ahead and save like a series of actions as like an asset package, which will help speed up your process?
Yes, you can, but I've always struggled with it, so I don't feel comfortable with teaching it. It's called blocks. They have a feature called blocks. So if you look up how to set up blocks in Spark AR, that is their technology for packaging up a lot of code so that you don't have to redo that code every single time you're launching it.
Got you. And quick on my second part, I'm pre-ordered and ready to rock and roll on the Quest Pro. Can't wait for it. Let me ask you, what part of this entire process would you say you could foresee being like more efficient in the headset than potentially on a computer per se, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I'm showing one right here, modeling. So I modeled all of this on VR, and it was much easier to model this outfit in VR than it was for me to do that on a computer, because I could just I put a mannequin in my room. I placed a mannequin in my room virtually, and I literally just draped fabric and cloth, around that mannequin. And then within a very short period of time, because I could see it in my room, it felt like I was just building an outfit on a real costume. Right. So that kind of interaction is hard to convey on a 2D screen, but very easy to convey when you have 2 hands and 2 eyes on your 3D world at the same time. It felt like you're just building a costume. I was like, oh, I want to have a shoulder pad here. I want to have an arm here. Versus the interaction on a computer would be let me zoom here. Okay, let me hold control to zoom around. Okay, let me hold alt to pan my view. That's a lot of interactions. I got nerve damage in my hand, so I can't use my left hand for very long. So I have to have I have to have inputs that aren't constraining me from my physical disabilities.
Wow. Powerful, man. Thank you so much for everything today, man. And everything that you've been doing. I appreciate everything, man. Look forward to it.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
One more. Anybody got a good one? Feel free to just pop off a mute or throw a hand up.
Hey, does Vix Vibes, is your hands up?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my last question.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want to take your time. I wanted to say, like, are there any, this is targeted at Don, Mr. Banana over there.
Oh, sorry. I'll be.
No, stay, please. Are there any artist AR experiences that you're particularly loving that we should look to for inspiration? That you've seen like really engaging, either like you've seen it drive a bunch of streams, seen it drive a bunch of engagement that we should look at?
Yeah, I'll share them on my screen right now. I have a few people that are always just pushing past the limits, and I love their work. It inspires me. I would encourage you to follow all of them. And all of them, I think, are pretty open to sharing. Like, you can ask them questions, literally send them a DM like, yo, I saw this on this. Can you like tell me like a thing or two about it? Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the first person I would recommend is my friend Kavin. RB Kavin is his Instagram name. This guy is, in my opinion, one of the top, like one of the most talented patch editing developers in Spark AR. His stuff is not normal. It's so advanced, so cool. So RB Kavin, that's my first one. Like literally, like when I can't do code, because I struggle with that, I hire him. He's my go-to coder. I got another one for you. Paige Piskin, a good friend of mine. She makes a lot of really awesome beauty effects and filters, but she also shares a lot of her process. She has full like length tutorials breaking down how she makes some of these scenes. She's made like these avatar skins, and she's done like, you know, Bratz doll stuff and a lot of stuff with L'Oreal. And she shares a lot of her pipeline. So I'd recommend them. Another person I recommend is an artist named Buna, Ibrahim Buna. Buna11 is their Instagram name. They're mostly building stuff on Snap, but yeah, Buna11. Their stuff is super inspiring to me because like look at this one. This one blew my mind the other day. They actually made a working basketball game filter. Like you can literally shoot baskets on the screen and you can make points. I'm like, oh my God, like that is insane. So the fact, and look how they fall into the screen. Like it's as if the screen is catching the ball like that. That's absurd. So I don't know how he's doing that. He's mostly doing stuff in Snap, but I think he also knows a lot of stuff in Spark AR. A lot of the skills transfer. I would say it's another important thing to mention. I know this one's sponsored by Meta, but like the good news is if you're learning optimization and asset management, that actually transfers to any AR pipeline, which is going to be, you know, more and more important. So yeah, those are three. Let's see, another artist. Oh, Late Effects. Follow him too. Not a lot of people that have our skin tone that are in this space. Late Effects is one of those folks who has my skin tone, is also a super awesome developer in the AR space. I freaking love his work. They're creative. A lot of fashion focused work is in his space. But they're also just a lot of good code, a lot of good, you know, interaction. They're all great folks. And I feel like if you ask them questions in the DMs, I would be surprised if they weren't helpful. It would be weird to be like, what? No, they're chill. Yeah, those are my go-tos.
All right, Don, we want to thank you so much for spending this time with us today. This was amazing. I know folks got a lot out of it. And honestly, it should be starting people up, starting the engine, starting that energy to go mess around and maybe get stuck in a rabbit hole for about 6 hours building some cool stuff. Literally nonstop, Don. And also we appreciate everybody who's on here. We had 20 folks tapped in here to learn about this different way to build some AR creator outputs. And, you know, for sure, it's what the web is all about. There's some accessible creators that Don has listed that you can go look around at as a muse, and also just tap into the tutorials that are available on Spark's main page, and put it to use, make it happen. Just kind of a last reminder, we do have a demo day next week, October 27th at the Moxie in Oakland. If you can't be with us in person, It's a shame because it's going to be the most amazing thing that we've done this year, and I'm not adding cherries on top of nothing. But if you want to tap in, the link is in the chat here, but also follow us on Instagram to get some more details and look for our recent posts. But again, like I can't say it enough, Don, thank you so much for spending this time with you, dropping gems. Yeah, I'll tell you how to.
Yeah, if there's time, I have one last question. I am an event producer and I focus on all disciplines. And so that includes people who are graphic designers, people who are building these virtual, beautiful things. What events have you seen incorporate VR and AR super, super well? Whether they're like a chain, like I don't know if Art Tech House would be like,
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
etc. So, and yes, and what has the activation been?
Yeah, one that did it really successfully was Coachella this last year. They had a lot of AR, VR activations. I would definitely encourage you to look at them. They actually had like little mini documentaries they made around the artists who did the Coachella AR experiences. Another in-person activation. I know some sports teams have done some pretty cool ones on the Snap side. I don't know too many in the Meta side of sports. I think NBA did a few installations with like recreating certain moments in AR and then placing them in the physical stadiums. That was a pretty sweet one. Try to think some others.
That sounds crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they made like a big poster, and then if people aim their phone at it, maybe I want to end on that note. A great way to get people to get to your AR experience is get a QR code that goes to the AR experience. And then you embed that QR code wherever your artwork is. Because like otherwise, like if I just aim my phone at that artwork, how does it know that that needs to go to Instagram? So I always use a QR code generator that is attached to my artwork. And we got to give some indicator that you should aim your phone here to unlock an experience. Like aim phone here to enhance this poster, to enhance this art, to do something. Because those are what I've seen as the most successful installations, is when they literally have that. It's like you have to, people kind of need their handheld a lot with this space still because it's so new. So you got to help with that. So any place that's done that, and they did a very good job at Coachella, and I know NBA's done a few installations. Those are the two that come to mind. I know there's a lot more. I just don't know why I'm not thinking of all of them on the spot.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
All right. Y'all have a good rest of the evening. Thanks for being here, and keep creating.
Absolutely. Thank you, Miles, for hosting. And it's great to have you guys in the house. And we will be continuing this education and bringing more information to you guys. So yes, keep creating.
Fire. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.